Welcome back, you filthy exiles. So this is, I think, build update number 2 for my Molten Strike Delver that you've been seeing me stream with, and that I've been generating some muy mad currency. And by the way, I'll be doing a new delve video on explaining my strategy for delve, and basically talking you through what you need to do to succeed in generating currency in delve, and the way that you've been seeing it on my streams. So anyway, what have I done to the build since the last update? So I guess we'll talk about the POB first up. So we've got the path of building in front of me right here. So we'll just zoom in and have a look at this. So there are a few changes to the tree that I've made since, but we'll talk that through shortly. So I'll note Magma Ball DPS is up to 275 per Magma Ball. So that's good. And melee hit DPS is at 319, so and about 9.96 attacks per second, which is slightly slower than what it was previously, but still a respectable DPS to be working on, or speed to be working on for this build. Now, some of the things that you'll notice is I am now using Versatile Combatant, and synergizing this with the use of Glancing Blows. So the way that Versatile Combatant works is essentially for you cap max block at 50% for both spell and attack block, and for 2% chance, you'll get 2% chance to block spells for every 1% you're overcapped in attack block. Now, most tree sort of nodes and also most builds succeed at getting to that overcapping. And the reason why, if you have a look, for example, at your shield, generally, we'll just have a look here. So your general chance to block is 30%, and that's not spell block, that's attack block chance. So overcapping attack block is really easy, and then with Glancing Blows, what that basically lets you do is doubles your attack, your chance to block attack damage is doubled, which then overcaps your spell block, overcaps your attack block, and then that then triggers Versatile Combatant to come in and then give you that 2% chance to block spell damage for every 1% you're overcapped, and then that then doubles back to Glancing Blows and then basically doubles that again. So when you get to look at your block stat, and in this case I'll bring it up here, defense, chance to block attack damage 50%, chance to block spell damage 50%, which under Versatile Combatant means that you're capped on your block. So essentially, for all intents and purposes, we're going to call this max block because it is using Versatile Combatant's max blocked to the 50% cap. Is it perfect? No. Gladiator's still really better at blocking, but on the jug, considering we have just a base level of 90% damage reduction with 30.5% armor without Molten Shell triggered or anything else going on, or Iron Reflexes or anything else triggering, or our Surrender, which we'll talk about why I'm using Surrender shortly. That's pretty damn good. So the other things you'll notice in the tree as well will basically be that I've gotten this to a point where I can run the Fortify node and Fortify Mastery, which means when I hit, I get Fortify, and I generate Fortify stacks. Previously, you'll have seen in my streams, I was using the Leech nodes for Hematology. Hematophagy, fuck it, too hard to pronounce. So I've now since removed that, and the reason why is I have a 3x Watcher's Eye, which gives me 28 life on hit when I'm using Vitality, and we simply just use level 1 Vitality, and also fire damage leech when using Anger, and we use Anger. So basically that gives me the sustain I need to drop off the additional leech nodes and use the Fortify Mastery node over here to give me Fortify, which is useful. Now, you could go for Rampart, but the problem with trying to get to Rampart is you're going to need more, another 2 points to get, or another 3 points to get over to Rampart, and I just don't think that it's worth the loss of those points to get Rampart, though that would give you a considerable increase of DPS, and I might actually consider that, because it really focuses on damage with Fortify, but this Steadfast just gives you more defense. It's really the difference between do you want more damage or do you want more defense. Entirely up to you as to how you play it. Realistically, if you didn't want to run Enduring Cry, which I run a Call to Arms setup, you could drop off this node here, and then basically drop off this node here, change to this node here, and then try and push this node up here and pick this up. But you know, you can play around with that if you decide to play this build. So outside of that, other key changes in the build, in the gearing side of things, that's more the tree side of looking at things. So we're still using Growwood Shank, no change there. I'm not going to use a corrupted version because accuracy gives me attack speed, which synergizes with the undeniable ascendancy. So you get 1% increased attack speed for every 150 accuracy rating. So yeah, we don't want to be changing that out. No change to the helm at this stage. Now, the helm is a really finicky one. Number one, you need to use a Elder Helm. You need an 85 or 86 plus Elder Helm. You need to Essence of Horror it to pick up the 30% elemental damage to socketed gems into the helm. The only way that you can get those through Essence of Horror. And then basically you need to annul off enough suffixes to be able to craft Cannot Change Suffix, because it's a suffix. And then you need to then fossil craft on the Immolate and Concentrated Effect, which is going to require a 4 socket. It's going to require some really expensive fossils, which I can farm, but I just haven't been stuffed trying to muck around with that yet. But that's pretty much how you craft that. And when I do that and get enough currency to do that, because I've been investing it back into the gearing right now and the Watcher's Eye, I'll show you how to do that and I'll do a guide on that. But yeah, so right now this is actually a relatively budget version of this build. This is just going to get more and more powerful. Now I'm only using, I'll talk about gem setup shortly. Now I do have a 6-link brass dome, and my brass dome is plus 5% to all maximum elemental resistances, which means I'm running high level max cap resistances, 82, 83, and 82. So that's really strong. I can get fire up to 83 and lightning up to 83 if I do take these nodes down here. But I haven't yet done that because I still want to level up a little further. I'm only at level 93 so far. So other things that have changed, I'm just getting confused with buttons. Nothing's changed with the Zoph's Blood. Nothing's changed with my Mind Knuckle Ring. I did buy a new Elder Ring, which gives me, adds 28 to 53 fire damage against ignited enemies, which increase my damage further because we're always igniting enemies. So just more damage there. Now with the surrender, and sorry, gloves no change, belt no change at all, boots no change. I do need better boots, but these are doing a job right now. Now, the reason why I switched to surrender from Lionized Remorse. Surrender, and I'll talk about gem setup soon, I'm able to use this instead of getting an expensive flammability ring that's going to drop my resistances and drop my damage. I can actually run a Reckoning setup, which, because I'm running max block, will trigger flammability on hit, with Hex Touch support, and then I trigger that with Life Tap. And you'll notice a lot of my gem setups use Life Tap, and I'll talk through that very shortly. I like the surrender because number one, you recover 250 life when you block, so it's got really good block recovery as far as survivability and life regen, because we're always going to be blocking, or almost always blocking. You get level 3 Reckoning, which does a little more damage, and this build really needs that uplift of damage, pardon me. And you also get 1500 armor when you've blocked recently. Now, I've had a look at the other profiles that are using different shields and whatnot. You can use Elder Shields and everything. I prefer the surrender. It's got huge base armor, good sustainability. It's got a lot of health on it as well. You get Reckoning. You also get more armor when you block. And because it uses Versatile Combatant, and it uses, I've already forgotten what I was doing. And it uses Glancing Blows, you just get a lot out of using this shield on this particular build. That being said, you can run any other shield. For me, this has got me down to nearly 400 in Delve, and I'm just easily just face tanking my way through everything. You were seeing in the B-roll, I can face tank Hydra now. That's pretty much it. Now, Flasking, I do have a poison immunity flask which grants life when hit, or charges when hit. The main reason this means, as I'm fighting bosses, my flask is always regenerating, so I'm always getting hit. I do have use when, pretty much all my flasks are set to be used when charges reach full. I've also crafted generate flask charges when hit, and or increased attack speed with that particular roll as well, except for my Granite Flask, which is really annoying, but it is what it is. Basically just means I've got self-regulating flasks, so I don't need to worry so much about piano flasking. They'll just trigger on their own. Now, as far as cluster jewel setups, I do need to upgrade my 3.16 socket 3.16 passive cluster. So no change here. Still using repeater and eye to eye and repeater eye to eye. Still using natural presence. All the same. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for cluster dueling and for gem setups. So we're using shield charge still, faster attacks, life tap support. Again, we're using life tap because the mana pool is really difficult to manage. I do have plenty of mana leech, but it can hit you at the worst time. And especially when you're taking down shit and delve, you just don't need to worry about it. You're generating so much health on hit that it's... how much health have we got on hit? Yeah, 49 health on hit. So you're generating so much health on hit from this build that you don't need to worry so much around using life tap, especially because we're a jug and we regenerate really quickly anyway as part of the passives. Now, so that's main weapon setup. Helm still Molten Strike, and I've got a level 21 gem in there now. Multi Strike, elemental damage with attack support, which I want to get an Awaken gem, and I am running Awaken Fire Penetration as well. I've 20% of these where possible. In my Surrender, I'm running Hex Touch support, Flammability, and Life Tap. So when that Reckoning triggers, it triggers the curse, and I'm not taking any mana costs, so that's really good. In my chest, I go a little differently than how other people are playing this. I have a 6-link cast when damage taken setup. So I have cast when damage taken, Molten Shell, Blood Rage, Wave of Conviction. I'm running Combustion, so my Wave of Conviction is doing further damage and further ignite, and also ignites enemies and gives them negative 10% fire resistance. And I'm also running Life Tap on that, so that costs me no mana, and that triggers constantly because I'm always being hit. So really powerful way to get around the whole mana sustain problem that can come with jug builds. In gloves, running Precision and maxing out Precision. Blood and Sand at level 6, Herald of Ash, and Anger. And then in my boots, I actually don't have 4-socket boots because I run Vitality, Second Wind, Enduring Cry, and Ancestral Protector, and I have Enduring Cry mapped to my move button. So I take a little bit of a different stance in this build as to how to play it. I just prefer it this way. It's a lot more survivable moving down the deeper parts of Delve. It can face tank bosses. You're still sort of phoenixing with a 4017 life pool. But there's so many damage layers. You know, we've got high level armor. We've got overcapped resistances except for chaos resist, which is a little bit of a problem. We've got fortification. We've got huge amounts of damage reduction. Yeah, the list goes on. We got max block. We're running versatile combatant. You know, we're running life on hit. We're running life on block. We've got everything we need in the recipe for a really, really fucking tanky bastard to be running around. Now, can this Cyrus? No, I wouldn't take this to Cyrus, but you can do the Crystal King at about, I had a crack at it at Delve level 350. And I will say this, the damage output on this build is slow to take him down, but as long as you don't move, you're just going to do crazy amounts of damage. I should also say that running Nature's Patience also gives you increased survivability. So, you know, you get a cap of 8 vines that attach to you. They reduce your movement speed, but they're going to give you 1% less damage taken per grasping vine, so 10% damage reduction, and 2% to do double damage per grasping vine. So gives you a fair bit of increased DPS. Anyway, I'll put a new POB in the description. If you've got any questions about where the build's at, let me know. I'm not too far off doing a build guide with this. This is pretty much at the maximum point where I can get on a really budget approach to this. People have asked me how much I've invested in it. Probably say, oh geez, if we look at pricing, chess piece is 2.5x is not right. It was 100 chaos for this chess piece. Though with the sockets, it's probably 2.5x. But about 2.5x, let's go with that. Surrender, pretty cheap, 34 chaos. Helm, in particular, this one that's not a 7.5x helm. It's actually really, really cheap helm, so you can get it for like, up to 10 chaos. Gloves is about 150 chaos. Unfortunately, they're a bit expensive. Boots as well, a little bit expensive because you need the 16% increased attack and cast speed modifier or enchant on it. Belt, any old belt will do as long as it max caps resistances. Chuck on some elemental damage. Ring was about 1 exalt. Both of these rings are about 1x. Grelwood Shank is worth nothing as well. So, and then obviously the cluster jewels, these are a bit expensive, so they're going to set you back. And then the Watcher's Eye is about 3 exalt. When I picked it up to 3.54 exalt. So maybe about 15 to 20 exalt right now just to be comfortable in investment. And this is pushing down to 400 plus delve. So this is doing quite well, and the return on delve is really good as well. Anyway, if this video helps you out, if you're playing this build, then like and sub. By all means, ask me questions in the comments. But until next time, have a good one, and bye.